It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Hey, tired of being Mr. Nice Guy to these fuck niggas. Got nothing to discuss with them unless it's about business. I replenish when they all diminish. Started caking, I ain't near finished. Can't kill him, I been too kind. When the money pile, I need y'all to witness. Pull up on them like calisthenics with the jewels on me. Met your chick, she amused for me. Sent music to amuse. I was not enthused when they put the blues on me. Wait, fuck that time for me to bust back. Show me where the love at, ho. Niggas on the block with the gun strap. Homie finna dump that. Hit him where his mustache go. Ayy, get on my level. When it come to bank, I pimp my teller. Never been a nigga that'll rock Margiela. Never come around, I be a chop better. Might not never get to rock Coachella. I don't get no fucks, I do you one better. I'm about my cheddar, don't sprinkle no feather. I skate on track like Bam, my cherry young nigga too hot, don't need no leather. I've been a living legend for a minute. I was at Apache trying to sell a ticket. Nigga used to rap when Debo had the pitches. I've been learning about the boss and treat it like an auction. Labels gotta bid it. I ain't never been with Stallion. I can make a call and get the money printed. Bitch, I do not play when it come to this rapping. Studied the game when I lived in the attic. All of that struggle just made me a savage. Singing my praise on my edge, been jagged. Hating that nigga can't fit in my jacket. I give you that shit, y'all nigga be taking. Y'all bite my style straight trash. Y'all make it took 21 days, make stuff my habit. I'm gone.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody is doing well out there. Okay, now there's been so much going on these last couple days. We got rap beefs, rap battles. We got Halle Bailey coming out, putting a restraining order on DDG. We got the fucking Diddy trial going on every day. I'm trying to keep up with that. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm not gonna get around to that today. I'm gonna probably have to double up tomorrow. All right, because again, it's too much. I'm playing catch up. There's stuff happening every other minute, and while other stuff is happening, I'm missing the other stuff. You know what I mean? I have a short window daily to record, just a few hours. So now we're about to finally get around to Tory Lanez, right? Yesterday, there was a press conference held after he was stabbed, right? He's been put in the hospital. They say he's stabilizing in condition. And his defense team, Unite the People, his father, and some other people that have joined his team have come out, and they're basically pleading to the government to allow Tory Lanez to either be sent to Canada at home or to be moved to a jail in Canada where he can recover away from the California prison where he's been detained for the last couple years or whatever. They really want him to be released early. That's what they're looking for. They're trying to point out anything that they can to discredit the story of him shooting Megan Thee Stallion. His legal team has tried to come out and retroactively blame Kelsey, although he had the golden opportunity to testify and say during his trial whether he believed Kelsey was the one or, anything like that, who did it. There's a lot of people out there that believe Kelsey did it. However, he was convicted. Okay? That's what it was. So now they're trying to press the button on this Kelsey accusation when Tory Lanez literally was in people's comments during his time in the free world, guaranteeing them that it wasn't her. Like it was some fucking ghost or phantom, or maybe the wind blew too hard and shot Megan in the foot. It's very interesting that they're trying to pull this tactic, but nonetheless they are. We're going to play some of the footage from yesterday's press conference. And as of today, it has also been updated that Miss Milagro Grrrls has lost her legal assistance, or one of her lawyers, in her lawsuit, or her, in the lawsuit that Megan filed against her. She's losing support. Okay. And they're saying that she's delinquent on her payments or something like that. I don't see how she's delinquent on her payments when she did that fucking fundraiser, and she had raised some money. So what happened? You know what I'm saying? It ain't been a lot of filings recently. It's been pretty dormant over there. So what's been going on? I know you got to pay your lawyers, but shit. I don't know. Let's explore. So here we have opinionated truths here. She says today, which was yesterday, at Tory Lanez press congress, I think you mean conference. She says they are blaming the shooting on Kelsey Harris by a bodyguard overheard. There's a couple grammatical errors here. By a bodyguard who allegedly heard Kelsey over talking to her boyfriend, executive producer of 1501, claiming she had the gun and shot it 3 times. Okay? So I'm going to pull up these videos so y'all can hear. I'm sure y'all have heard it by now, but we're just going to do a quick overview of what happened. Some of y'all, I'm sure, didn't tune in.
There were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense? We don't know. It should have been taken. It is Unite the People's understanding, regular LAPD practice at a crime scene like that. Anybody who's there, the DNA is taken. Another irregularity. Why, at Miss Harris's police interview, was a non-lawyer, non-family member record company executive allowed to participate? Highly irregular situation. Normally, we see cases, strangers are not allowed in these things, but it was in this case. All of these things point to the highly irregular nature of his trial and his conviction. It is our contention that he was wrongly convicted. And while we at first were willing to let the process play out, it is our contention now that if he is not pardoned or released promptly, he may never come out. And that would be the ultimate injustice, is that he gets killed in prison for something he did not do. At this time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Gianno Caldwell, media member who was working on that op-ed for the New York Post. Thank you.
All right, so they're trying to make it seem like there's some sort of hit out on Tory Lanez in prison. If they allow him to go back in there, then maybe whoever attempted on his life this time perhaps will succeed next time. Y'all see, once again, and he's a victim in this situation. I'm not gonna act like he's not, but y'all see what they doing here, man. I'm about to play the next portion here. Man, y'all, what the fuck, man? Bring your dumb ass up here. God damn, I checked my phone and everything. Your ass ain't start talking. Had to piss me off.
All right, everybody. First off, my name is Caesar McDowell. I am the CEO and co-founder of Unite the People. We're a nonprofit organization that promotes social justice as well as provides affordable legal services for the underserved community here in the state of California. Today, we want to thank everybody for coming out, all of the press, all of the fans, everyone that's here today. We want to say thank you for coming. Today, we're going to hear some really, really compelling new evidence that you've never heard before. Our legal team will explain all of that to you. We will have updates on Tory Lanez, Mr. Peterson, on how he's doing. It's really sad to see the situation that he's in, and we think it's time, enough is enough. It's time to bring the brother home. So with that, I would like to bring up our lead consultant, Mr. Walter Roberts.
Good morning. We are here today to bring to your attention some information Unite the People believes is exculpatory in Mr. Daystar Peterson's case, professionally known as Tory Lanez. Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gascon, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell.
Bro, what the fuck they gotta do with anything? So yeah, so you're telling me that Megan and her legal team would incriminate themselves by requesting information and then sending somebody at him in prison? That don't sound formulaic to me. To y'all, excuse me. You think Megan the Stallion wants to be in jail? You think she wants prison pants on? You think she would do something so obvious? Hey, go request more information about what it is that they're talking about. But in the meantime, before they send it to us, go stab him up in jail. Are you fucking kidding me? Y'all wasted the good people's time, cameras, and fucking news networks coming out. Y'all did this whole setup for that?
Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed an appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf,
which was denied.
The district attorney's office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out, but given that brutal...
Well, it wasn't denied. They ain't said shit, but it's gonna be denied.
Brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide you with this information. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell, but that he's allowed to go home and recover. Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times.
The gun fired 2 more times? So you saying the 2 shots, because it was definitely 3 shots. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle. Some people say that they can hear, there's footage online of people saying they may have heard Tory say, "Dance, bitch." I see some people out there that claim he's saying, "Stop it, bitch." We'll pull it up in a minute. Y'all can tell me what y'all hear if you hear anything. And then there's 2 more shots. Okay, now it's been stated that the gun, this 9mm Luger, takes 8.5 pounds of pressure on the trigger in order to be fired. But they're claiming that 2 additional shots from ground contact not touching the trigger fired those additional 2 rounds. That's what they're saying. And they're saying that this is a testimony of a bodyguard / driver who allegedly heard Kelsey make this admission. Now, how are we supposed to explore this hearsay? To my knowledge, lie detectors are not admissible in court, so it's not like you could just plug him up and say, hey, did you hear this or did you not? Does he have a recording of said admission? Does he have any visual proof? You know what I'm saying? Like, something's got to give here if we're going to retroactively address this 2 years later after the conviction, or a year later, whatever the fuck it is. 2 years, I think it's damn near 3. Whatever it is. How are we supposed to explore this so-called revelation? Just by one man's word is going to overthrow the entire case?
In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement.
So you contradicting yourself. You claiming that Kelsey fired 3 shots. Tory intervened and took the gun from her and caused it to drop, but you're claiming that he never touched it. So what did he do? He did a kung fu chop on her wrist? Did he tackle her onto the ground? What are we implying here?
Statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. Passenger side is where
one man
Harris
grabbed the other one's arm?
was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete.
All right, there's that. I think we got one more.
Hey, my name is Gianno Caldwell. That is spelled Gianno. Caldwell, Caldwell. I am the founder of the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety at caldwellinstitute.org. I am also a member of the press for almost a decade now. I've been looking into Daystar Peterson's case for almost 6 months now, professionally known as Tory Lanez. And after reviewing the evidence, the reporting, and the legal analysis, I've come to the conclusion that Tory Lanez was railroaded by the former district attorney, George Gascon. He was also wrongly convicted. I believe if Jesus Christ was Tory Lanez's attorney, George Gascon would do whatever in his power to ensure that Tory Lanez lost that case. Was Tory Lanez's attorney wrongly convicted? I believe if Jesus Christ was Tory Lanez's attorney, George Gascon would do whatever in his power to ensure that Tory Lanez lost that case.
What? What Jesus
Tory
gotta do
Lanez
with this?
defense team have alleged the withholding of exculpatory evidence, prosecutorial misconduct, among other issues that I was compelled to write an opinion piece for the New York Post. It is true that last week, the New York Post editors reached out to 3 parties, one being George Gascon, Megan Pete's team, and Kelsey Harris. It is also true that Megan's team was the only ones that responded back for that request for comment.
Okay.
I had some glaring questions, and that was the reason for this op-ed. Things didn't make any sense to me, many issues in this case, and I was shocked by the lack of interest from the media to ask very simple questions. There were multiple people with gunshot residue on their hands that night. Why didn't all individuals have the residue tested, their DNA tested on the weapon? That's a legitimate question. According to the prosecution, Tory was excluded from the clip of the gun, and according to Tory's defense team, They said DNA analysis showed that there was a 0.01% chance that Tory touched the actual gun itself.
But that contradicts the actual evidence that was shown in court.
Another piece that stood out to me, the call that the prosecution alleged Tory made confessing to a crime. I listened to that call. I'm sure many of you have as well. I didn't hear a confession. But what really shocked me about it is if my best friend was shot maliciously by someone just 2 to 3 hours before, I wouldn't have answered the call, or if I did, I wouldn't calmly have a conversation with the individual of it. And certainly I would ask, why did you shoot my friend? And more importantly, I would never have given you my current location out of fear of you finishing the job. That was something that stood out to me. I also, in my op-ed, discussed Kelsey Harris pleading the Fifth Amendment.
So you mean to tell me you're giving a journalist the opportunity to express his opinion about what played out in court for what reason? Because he's asking questions in an open editorial opinion piece. He's supposed to be providing revelations for something he wasn't there for. He's not legally representing Tory. Like, what? Y'all might as well, shit, let me go get my motherfucking suit. Let me come up to the podium and express my opinion about some shit. If we just letting niggas come express their opinion on legal matters, shit, let me go upload a blog to realjnolan.com and get my motherfucking suit on. What are we doing here, bruh? You're free to ask any questions you want. I'm not saying that you shouldn't ask these questions. I'm saying, who is this nigga and why is he talking?
She wasn't accused of anything by Megan Pete or the police, and to my knowledge, she wasn't under any investigation. So why plead the Fifth? What also shocked me is the prosecution gave her immunity. For what? What did she do? Is there an allegation of her doing something? I'm not aware of that. Maybe some of you can answer that question today. During the time of trial, George Gascon, just to take you back to where we were at that particular point.
Yeah, so that's that, man. Let me go ahead and pull up this other video, see if we could get to the sounds, see what y'all hear, and then I'm going to get to Milagro as quickly as I possibly can. I don't have a lot of time right now. So this is the video that came out from Neek at Night a few years back when all of this was, actually happening and going through trial and all of these different things. Let me see if I can turn the volume up as high as I can here. Let me know what y'all hear from these shots.
Pull it up on the screen. Pull it up on the screen.
It's got a lot of rhythm to those shots too. The gun hit the ground. I don't know. Some rhythm to them shots. I gotta be honest. I don't think the ground pulled the trigger them last couple times, but I could be wrong. I'm not a forensics or I'm not a ballistics specialist. So I don't know, but it sounded like rhythm to them. Next, let's get into this Latino guy who comes out and spoke to the nature of Tory Lanez being attacked in prison to try to give us a little bit of context as to what happened. I can't say that this is a definitive explanation, just one that we have. Here we go.
Hey, once again, I got to hit you guys with some crazy information. So I did a little digging, and this is about Tory Lanez. This is the person that stabbed him in Tehachapi State Prison, and I'll tell you guys why. Now, the video I did before was just saying that there was a false narrative going on about a Mexican trying to extort him or make him pay taxes, and everybody ran with that theory. I said, no, it was personal. Now, if a Mexican was to do it, it was, yada, yada, yada. But the reason this took place is this dude was a nice guy, respectful inmate, got into a lot of trouble, though. He stabbed a couple inmates in prison. He's doing life without the possibility of parole for 2 months.
Now, to say this nigga was respectful or respectable, I don't know, because they saying that this man killed the 13-year-old girl at 20 years old that he was allegedly dating. You know what I'm saying? The man in question, Mr. Santino Casillo. So I don't know about him being respectful or respectable, but I'll continue. You know what I'm saying? All these motherfuckers will continue.
Murders, and he was in education. He was working in the educational department, respectful, but he happened to be Tory Lanez's neighbor. And at visit, he was flirtatious with his wife, and his wife immediately told her husband. They went back, got confrontational, and Tory Lanez was on a tear saying that he was gonna F his wife because she likes black dudes. That's what really happened, and I had to go do some digging. I had to go. People kept asking me to go look it up, and I made.
So you telling me this man got shanked up for making eyes with this man lady? That's what happened? Wow.
Contact with Tehachapi State Prison to finally get the story down, because a lot of people kept saying it was black on black, and he tried to get a black DP'd and all that, and he was paying other people for protection to have other people hid and trying to be the shot caller on the yard. Then I heard Mexicans did it, and I was like, all right, now let me just get to the bottom of it, since everybody's throwing like 202 stories about it. But that is the information. That is what happened. He was being disrespectful towards his neighbor's wife at visit.
Wow. Again, I don't know that to be true. It's just hearsay from a man on TikTok. He claims that he did some research. I don't know who he knows, but an interesting story nonetheless. Let's try to get over to Miss Grams, Miss Milagro. All right, so this is the paperwork on Milagro versus. Well, Megan versus Milagro. This is an unopposed motion to withdraw as counsel from attorney Michael A. Pancier. I believe that is the attorney in Florida who she commissioned to work on her behalf, pursuant to Southern District of Florida Local Rule 11D3 and Rule 41.16b of the rules regulating the Florida Bar. Michael A. Pancier, Esquire, files his motion to withdraw as local counsel of record for defendant Milagro Elizabeth Cooper. Preliminary statement. Undersigned counsel was retained as local counsel by defendant in the above referenced matter. Michael Hayden, Esquire, and Unite the People are lead counsel for defendant appearing pro hoc vice, meaning that they can practice in Florida although they are from Cali or barred in Cali. Due to irreconcilable differences which have arisen between the undersigned counsel and defendant along with Unite the People, Inc., undersigned counsel seeks to withdraw from representation of defendant as local counsel in this manner. Specific basis for withdrawal. Irreconcilable differences have arisen between undersigned counsel, defendant, and Unite the People, making it unreasonably difficult for undersigned counsel to continue to effectively represent defendant as local counsel in this matter. Defendant and Unite the People, Inc. have not met their financial obligations to compensate. We see that she had financial issues. Undersigned counsel to continue to act as local counsel in this matter, thereby rendering continued representation unreasonably difficult and a burden on undersigned counsel. Okay. Conferral with counsel for plaintiff on May 14, 2025. Undersigned counsel notified counsel for the plaintiff via email of his intention to withdraw as local counsel from this matter and can represent that counsel for plaintiff is unopposed to the instant motion to withdraw, provided it will not delay the case, including Ms. Cooper's upcoming deposition, which it should not, as lead counsel, will be able to handle these matters, as most, if not all of them, are taking place outside of the state of Florida. Okay, she has an upcoming deposition. Him leaving should not interfere with this. Defendant and lead counsel have also been advised of the undersigned counsel's motion and have no objection. A proposed order is being submitted to the court under separate cover. Memorandum of law pursuant to Rule F116B of the rules regulating the Florida Bar, a lawyer may withdraw from representing a client if 1, withdrawal can be accomplished without material adverse effect of the interests of the client. 2, the client insists upon taking action that the lawyer considers repugnant, imprudent, or with which the lawyer has a fundamental disagreement. 3, the client fails substantially to fulfill an obligation to the lawyer regarding the lawyer's services and has been given reasonable warning that the lawyer will withdraw unless the obligation is fulfilled. 4, the representation will result in an unreasonable financial burden on the lawyer or has been rendered unreasonably difficult by the client. Or 5, other good cause for withdrawal exit. Given the irreconcilable differences which have arisen between undersigned counsel and defendant and Unite the People, Inc., sufficient good cause exists to permit the withdrawal of undersigned counsel as local counsel of record for defendant. Specifically, defendant and Unite the People have not met their financial obligations to compensate undersigned counsel to continue to act as local counsel. This makes it an unreasonable burden for the undersigned counsel to continue to represent defendant. Further, given that all of the remaining depositions will be conducted in California or remotely, Mr. Hayden with Unite the People, Inc. as lead counsel can continue to represent the defendant while searching for new local counsel, and as such, there will be no material adverse effect on the defendant, and further, there will be no need to extend the current deadlines or delay any of the currently scheduled depositions. He said, "You're on your own." Okay? Damn. Based on the foregoing, undersigned counsel respectfully requests that the court grant the instant motion in its entirety, entering an order. 1, granting this motion in its entirety and authorizing Michael Pantier, Esquire of Michael Pantier, PA, to withdraw as local counsel of record for defendant Milagro Elizabeth Cooper, relieving said counsel of any and all further obligations on behalf of defendant in this action, providing defendant Milagro Elizabeth Cooper with the time period deemed sufficient by this court to retain successor local counsel, and 3, directing all interim pleadings, motions, discovery, and any and all other communications concerning this matter to continue to be sent lead counsel Michael Hayden, Esquire of Unite the People, with copies to be mailed to Milagro Elizabeth Cooper. Boom, whoa. Okay, certificate of, we don't want to put her address out there. Certificate of conferral pursuant to Southern District of Florida. Pursuant to Southern District of Florida Local Rule 713, I hereby certify that a good faith effort to resolve the issues by agreement occurred, and plaintiff's counsel has indicated that plaintiff does not oppose the relief sought herein. Okay, so Mr. Michael Pantier has got the fuck out of Dodge. He has hit the flee button. Okay, and it has been approved by the judge. So Milagro is now stuck with Unite the People, and whatever they can unite on her behalf, she will still have to find a local attorney in Florida throughout the rest of this ordeal. And we shall see how that goes. I wouldn't be surprised if this deadline gets thrown off, because who the fuck is really going to work for her? I don't know what her financial situation is, but I'm quite sure it's going to be very difficult for her to put the money towards somebody else. Or maybe she's withholding the money and felt like she could find better counsel. Maybe that's the irreconcilable difference. I will not pay you with the money I have. I'm not satisfied with what you've done thus far. That could also be the problem. Okay? Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider, and I will catch y'all on the next one. I would love to go deeper into this, but I just do not have the time. I'll catch y'all later, though. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit on my almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they died of me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but you run no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.